Well, let's talk about caregiving now with an expert, Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy, welcome. Lovely to have you on the programme.
I'm happy to be here, thank you.
Now, Dr. Amy, let's start off with a definition. What is a caregiver?
Well, it's a great question because a lot of times people don't self-identify as caregivers because they don't realize what they're doing is caregiving. So what I like to say is that caregiving is anything we do to support the independence or quality of life of an older adult. And that's pretty broad because that's everything from on the intensive side, personal care, we think about, bathing and dressing and feeding, but we can go all the way down to perhaps it's the family member who lives long distance and calls nearly every day so that their parent has social support. It can be the neighbor who checks in on a daily basis, brings in the mail, runs errands. It can be the person who does the financial part of the managing the household or household repairs. So I had this interesting experience once where I was doing a workshop for caregivers and I asked in the room, how many of you are caregivers? And less than half the room raised their hand. And I was shocked. I thought, well, who else came? So then I gave this definition of anything you do to support the independence or quality of life, gave those kind of examples, and then asked again, how many of you are caregivers? And everyone raised their hand, which I think really speaks to one of the issues we have right now is that we don't see ourselves as caregivers. And sometimes people say, well, why do you need to? Because once you see that this role, just like a parent, is an important role, you then start to look at what's the help I need, what's the support I need, and how can I do this role in a way where I have caregiver wellness, is what I call it, which is the ability to take good care of someone else while you also take good care of yourself.
So Amy, caregiving is a really important job, isn't it? So what can we do to support caregivers?
It's a great question, and I think one of the things is to look at where is it you need the help. And often what happens is when we're in the role, it's fairly overwhelming because most people don't think about this until they're actually become a caregiver. And there's two ways we typically become a caregiver. We get a phone call that someone we love has had something happen that has changed their functioning very quickly. With my mother, it was a massive stroke. It could be a heart attack, a fall. The other route into caregiving is a slow decline of the person we love. With the phone call, a lot of times, we're busy living our lives. We're not expecting to add this very big role into our lives. So we get thrown in and we go into crisis behavior, which is exactly what we need to do, is to really rally all of our resources, all of our time to work on this issue. The problem with this is you can't sustain crisis behavior. So what you have to do then is to move into sustainable behavior. And to do that, you have to step back and say, so what is it I need here? Do I need information? Do I need education on something? Are there emotional issues going on? A lot of times there are family issues and emotional issues that need help. Is it something that needs services? Do I need a service? And do I know where that service is even? I just know I have this need. And then is it a financial or a legal issue? So if you look at those four areas and then say, what do I need the help? There are professionals who can help people get the help they need, which is key because most people don't know where to turn.
So Dr. Amy, we're all getting older.
Yes, except you and me.
But as we all get older, this is a big challenge for society.
Absolutely it is, and I think one of the shifts, I've been working in this field for 28 years now, and when I began working, we just did our services for the older adult. We're very focused on that. One of the great things I've seen happen, especially in the last few years, is better understanding that this is a family issue. We live in the context of families. Very few of us live without anyone in our lives. And then it's a society. When we look at it, it's a societal issue. So when you talk about how does it impact society, one of the figures that gets thrown around quite a bit now is that family caregivers provide what amounts to $200 billion of service if we had to pay for it in our society. So as a society, when we look at this issue, we really should be very committed to supporting family caregivers because we as a society could not afford to do what they are doing on an informal basis. Yet they do need support, and often that gets ignored.
Dr. Amy, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. We could talk about this all day, but I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Thank you.